I just picked up this kite on an awesome deal from Facebook Marketplace. It's a bit older, 2006. Stay tuned for my next video to find out the differences between a very old kiteboarding kite and a new one. But today, we're gonna talk about learning how to kiteboard. And it's very important that this video is to supplement people taking lessons, because if you're trying to teach yourself, it's kind of impossible because you have to get the kite up off the beach. And in order to get the kite up off the beach safely, you need to learn how to control the kite in the neutral zones. And to control the kite in the neutral zones, you need to learn how to launch the kite on the beach. That's a big one. The second thing is you have to choose the appropriate size kite. Let's take it back even further. You need to choose the appropriate location with the appropriate conditions to even practice kiteboarding. So that's something that a more experienced kiteboarder will know. If you're completely new to kiteboarding, that's going to be completely foreign. So it is so important from a multitude of levels to just take professional lessons. If not with us, just find a reputable school in your area and please take lessons. This video is to help support people who are taking lessons. So with that said, let's get into it. Anthony here with Kiteboarding St. Petersburg, and today we're going to talk about learning how to kiteboard. So before you even get onto the water, there's two big concepts that you really want to understand. The first concept is the wind window. So today, let's draw an arrow in the sand to indicate which direction the wind is coming from. There we go. So we have the wind coming from this direction. And what the wind window is the area where the kite can fly. So everything in kiteboarding is going to revolve around this concept called the wind window. So to explain, you have this half a circle, and it's based on the pilot of the kite. So assuming the pilot of the kite is standing on this X, this half a circle, three-dimensional zone is the area where the kite can fly. So imagine I'm the pilot of the kite, the wind's blowing this direction. If I have the kite over towards my side, wind is passing underneath the sail and over top of the sail, not actually hitting the sail. If the kite was positioned straight in front of me, wind's hitting all of the canopy of the sail, which is increasing our power. If the kite's above my head, wind's passing underneath the sail and over top of the sail, so it's not actually creating any lift in that position right there. Second concept to understand is how the kite flies. Most kites have four lines. Imagine my hand is the front of the kite and this is the canopy of the kite. Two lines are attached to the front and two lines are attached to the back. The front lines, the center lines, stay the same. The back of the kite changes the angle of attack. So if the kite is like this, wind's blowing laterally and over top. If the back of the kite over here is angled like this, more wind is hitting the canopy of the kite. You're getting more lift, more power. So that's an important concept to understand. And from there, then we could get into how to set up a kite, how to launch a kite, and control the kite in the neutral zones. So now that we understand the concepts of wind window and how the kite flies, you have to go from the kite on the beach to the kite in the water. This is called launching the kite, and most accidents happen during this stage. So let's go back to our wind window diagram that we drew in the sand. We'll face down to show this wind window. So this half a circle right here, it's so unbelievably critical that if this X is the person, the pilot of the kite, that to launch the kite, it's at either side. So either off to the right side or off to the left side right there. And then we can go through some visual cues on how to launch the kite to make sure that the rider is in the appropriate spot to launch the kite. Let's go take a look at that. All right, so after we pump up the kite and we set the kite on the beach, pretty much have to set the kite on the beach so wind blows over the top of the canopy, otherwise the kite blows away. This is important because, come over here, when you set the kite up on the beach, the middle point straight downwind. So again, to launch the kite, we want to be perpendicular. So a nice reference, now I'm going to have you stand this way and face this way, is if you draw an arrow or draw a line from the back of the kite, not the straightest arrow, but from the trailing edge or the back of the kite, straight out that way. And that's how we can get into the right position for launching the kite. So here we are. I want to make sure that I'm just downwind of that line that we drew, and I'm going to walk backwards. I'll hold this here.
Oh, this guy is so big. Oh.
I'm going to make sure that I do not hold the control bar. I'll hold right here. Do a safety check on my lines. Once the lines, see how the kite's fluttering? I'm going to walk into the wind with one hand on the top side of the bar. As soon as the kite stops fluttering, I give the thumbs up. Using one hand, I'll nice and patiently guide the kite up. Finding my sweet spot, balancing tension in the control bar. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Good one. All right, so there's two important skills to have when you're first learning the kiteboard. Flying the kite in the neutral zones and then water relaunches. So to fly the kite in the neutral zones, there's two fundamental keys to this. One is going to be balancing tension in the bar, controlling the in or the out of the bar, going back to that concept of how the kite flies, angle of attack. And then steering by pulling one side in and pushing the other side out. If the kite is to my left, it's pulling to the left. You want to steer by pulling one side in, pushing the other side out. And then balancing tension in a control bar. Because if I have the bar in too much, then I'm getting power. You say that for a power stroke. If the kite crashes, when you're learning the kite's going to crash, very important skill, getting the kite up off the water. First thing I want to do is assess whether the kite is to my left or right. Right now it's to my left. So I'm going to use the wingtip on the left, trace it down to this side, use the line. Step one is to get more tension, do more pulling on the line to get the kite vertical. Step two, come a little closer. Step two, once the kite is vertical, is to just very gently keep a light amount of tension to balance tension so that the kite stays vertical and goes to the edge of the wind window. Give it just the tiniest little touch as it goes up. Step three, let go. And then it goes back to fundamental kite control, balancing tension in the bar, steering by pulling one side in, pushing the other side out. Now, a very important thing for anyone learning is situational awareness. When you're learning to fly the kite, you are going to crash the kite. So it's so important to keep your distance from the beach, from other people. Find yourself shallow, waist-deep water. Right here in St. Petersburg, we have the perfect conditions for learning. Anthony was kiteboarding St. Petersburg.